ghost of our past is chasing, trying to stop us. The sound of our souls connected is nothing but wonder. So don't give up tonight. Just keep living your life. Afraid of being alone. Rise like the sun and fall in the ocean. Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win, 'cause we're only human. The ghost of our past is chasing, trying to stop us. The sound of our souls connected is nothing but wonder. So don't give up tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sim Racing Alliance. We are here with Season 10 and Round 1. Boogity, let's go racing as the green flag jumps.
Looking maybe even full wide.
They're fanning out, there's a bit of contact. He's got the outside.
Side, that's a great move. He's got plenty of speed in there and he's being held up.
He's gonna have a better run. Yeah, it's gonna stick it on the outside.
Oh, that's a late move. 296 Ferrari though finds a space.
Oh, he didn't have it.
And we're on the way for SRA.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Sim Racing Alliance GT3 Team Series. Welcome to Week 5. We're coming at you live from Donington Park. My name's Philip Mueller. I'll be your host for this evening. Joining me on the mic once again, my co-commentator, Donovan Colton. Donovan, how are we feeling this week?
Feeling pretty good. Excited, once again for what D5 has in store for us. It's an interesting track, so should be a entertaining one as always.
Absolutely. We're loving D5 this season, and this is going to be a pretty exciting track. Welcome back to all my returning viewers. Anybody out there on stream, join us in the chat, or if you're watching the VOD, leave us a comment. Let us know how you're feeling about the stream. Give us any feedback, and let us know what drivers you're supporting. Let us jump straight in. We've got so much to discuss. To the standings. So things are becoming a little bit more clear at the top. Our leader, Alexander Bermudez Garcia, still at the top of the leaderboard with 294 points. Got Heisner and May close behind, 267, 263. Also want to take the time to point out our silver battle. So down there in 11th place overall, we've got Leung, followed by Duong Bong Leo and Kyle Miller with 179, 172, and 168 points respectively. But for me, as I click over to this next page of driver standings, I think the story of the season that we're going to be tracking closely is the man you see there in 27th place, Emil Garcia, who was one of our D6 promotions. Took second place last week, and I don't know about you, Donovan, but I'm expecting him to maybe repeat this week.
Yeah, I think we could definitely see some good things out of him. I know he was coach's pick for silver too, which, sometimes some drivers feel a little extra pressure for that. But yeah, no, I think we could definitely see some good things from him.
Yeah, it could be a blessing, it could be a curse, but if the coach believes him, then I believe in him too.
Yep, absolutely.
Taking a quick look at the team standings, so we've got Scuderia Atlantica in the Ferraris. We've got Sean Leitch and J.E. May at the top of the standings there, followed closely by the TC8 Racing Team, Garcia and Guarin. Third place, Davim Galindo and Brett Swift, representing the Sub-Zero Porsches. Let's take a quick look now at the track map. As I said, this week we are in sunny England. This week it actually is sunny. We're at Donington Park. A fantastic track. Sector 1 and Sector 2 are perhaps some of the most enjoyable driving on the circuit, followed closely behind a chicane and a hairpin and a hairpin. So
yeah. Although those are your passing opportunities right there. This is a really tight track. It's difficult to pass. You have to apply pressure really well and see if you could just take advantage of any braking opportunities in turn 11 and 12 there.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so super tight track, not a whole lot of runoff areas, so any mistakes that a driver might make, I'm expecting to be super punishing. We're going to have to see how our drivers handle these situations. I know last week, I think I might have jinxed it, so I mentioned that at our Suzuka race, we didn't have any drive-through penalties for track limits. Well, last week, I believe we had 5 drive-through penalties for track limits.
Yeah, Spa is tricky for that. This one, it's not quite as many opportunities. There is the chicane, which is definitely you could cut that too much, on the inside there. And so definitely that's an opportunity for drive-throughs, but otherwise it's mostly grass. So if you're going off, you're lawn mowing.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've got some really tricky, really technical turns. 7 and 8 there, McLean's and Coppice. It's really easy to get it wrong, and like you said, there's not a whole lot of room for error on the outside of that track.
Yeah, not at all.
So we are just waiting for our drivers to finish trickling into the server and waiting for the server to tick over to the qualifying session, and we will bring you
green light, go, go, go.
here. Me. While I restart my race. That's fine. We got time. Drivers aren't even out on track yet. Don't you worry, folks at home. You're not missing any action. There we go. Okay, so I guess, as you mentioned, we've got our favorite Emil Garcia in the Mustang.
That should be a good car around here. It does have quite a heavy hit in the BOP, but it's still a strong car. It's still going to be, I think, a very, very competitive here.
Find somebody who is. We've got Dan Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Doing our outlap stroll. Maybe a little something to watch, to keep track of. So we have had problems in the past with the fast traffic catching up to the back of kind of the queue to qualify at the end of their first hot lap. So we'll keep an eye on this number 44 car as he drives around. We have actually a really a high number of silver drivers. We've got 32 silver drivers registered. Obviously not all of them are here, but there is a potential for maybe a little bit of traffic jam at the end of this first lap here.
Yeah, it's a really short track. We're going to be looking at, maybe I want to say the hot lap, maybe we'll be getting into the 127s, but definitely in the 128s here. So it's a short track, and that definitely leads a possibility of reaching traffic by the end of your lap. So hopefully there's no problems with that here. But yeah, and here we go for quali.
Yeah, good mention there about the expected times. So looking at the leaderboard, we had our top time coming into this race from one and only Divem Galindo with a 127.7. Lots of drivers on this grid capable of hitting similar times, so low 128s and even high 27s I'm expecting to see here in this qualifying session.
Yeah, and there's a lot of drivers that are really close, so this could be competitive, really competitive here. And this track qualifying is really important because it's hard to pass, and so your qualifying position is certainly important here.
Coming over the top of Coppice here, getting a good drive down onto that back straight, coming into sector 3, going to be on hard for what is a fairly fast chicane here. You can really abuse those track limits, get all the way over the inside of that AstroTurf colored tarmac over there. Into the final 2 hairpins. Looking ahead, luckily all of our traffic cleared, so I think I counter jinxed that, and we're going to be clean. We're good to go.
I was going to say, I think that's opposite of a commentator's curse there. Yeah, these hairpins are tricky to nail. You could gain and lose a lot of time with them. I know personally from experience, whenever I completely nail sectors 1 and 2, that third sector sometimes messes with you a little bit.
Yep,
I
sorry.
believe we're also dealing with some pretty hot temperatures. It's a stark contrast to last week where it was quite cool. So the tires, at least in my experience, by the end of the qualifying session, they're screaming. So when you're pushing hard on them, it doesn't take long for them to get really hot, and that could be a bit of a challenge for these drivers.
Yeah, I mean, time-wise, we'd be expecting I believe time for 5 laps in 10 minutes. But to your point, I mean, how much tire is going to be left on that 5th lap? I think if you're not getting it done in 3 or 4, you're not going to get it done at all.
Yeah, I've found personally, that second and third lap are the sweet spot for the tires. But yeah, it's definitely challenging. The sector 1 and 2 seem to be pretty hard on those tires.
For sure. Looking at the leaderboard, this is kind of still everybody's kind of warm up, getting the tires up to temperature. So the top time on the leaderboard, 29.4. We're expecting those to come way down. Way down. 129.4s, still not too much improvement. Plenty of time left though. 5 minutes left for these silver drivers. Long Bong Leo putting down at 29.2.
This is a tricky track to get everything together quickly. It's a tough track to qualify on, which is, again, like I said, also important here. Yeah, you can get a good perspective. This is one of my favorite corners, called the Old Hairpin. It's nothing like a hairpin. But I love that turn. This braking zone right after this left turn here. Got to make sure you take it wide so you can get the power down here, which is really tricky, especially if you go wide there, because there's no grip on that AstroTurf there. And then another really important corner exit here, because this is the longest straight. And yeah, so really important to put the power down there, and it's tricky there. Those two right-handers don't feel like they have a ton of grip compared to the rest of the track.
Yeah, no, they're kind of, you're coming up over a ridge. They're almost off camber. There's really not a whole lot of, like you said, grip. It's just about patience. It's like I'm there, a little bit of throttle, and okay, we're through it.
Yep, got to make sure you don't overcook it, because yeah, that could be easily done.
So, to the top of the standings now, we had Kyle Miller almost make his way into the 120s. Same with Duong Bong Leo. We've got some 29.067 and 082 at the top of the leaderboard. Really close margins. Looking forward to a tight race out of some of these.
Yeah, the top 4 there within 800ths from each other. That's certainly really quite close.
Really aggressive over the inside there, but the track limits let you do it.
Yep, and it's good to be pretty aggressive there. You maybe don't want to clip grass there, but definitely want to be aggressive. It's so funny. There's a lot of you can see there's a lot of those bollards on the side. Oh, as we get Garcia there going into provisional pole with a 28.2. So our first 28 there. Or no, that's not our first 28. What am I talking about? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good time. That actually was our first 28, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, so that's our first kind of proper time. We also have Verana, who is another one of our D6 promotions next week. Or the really impressive time so far. Rudderham with a 28.5.
There we go. Yeah, so the times are definitely starting to fall down here, and yeah, that's good. I wonder when we'll see our first 27.
I mean, I believe at least a couple of these drivers have it in them.
I know they got it in.
But we'll see if they can perform under pressure. So most of people I see on track right now will be able to lap after. They will be able to get in 5.
mean, if you got the fuel and tires, you might be able to get in. I mean, for a couple of these drivers, you might be able to even get in 2 more. The problem is the tires. I don't know if the tires will be happy enough to improve on, if there's 2 more in them.
Yeah, no. Strategy-wise, assuming that last lap wouldn't be of much value anyways, do you even bother fueling for those many laps?
Yeah, that's definitely true.
You shoot yourself in the foot there, taking too much weight.
For sure.
Fong Leo has returned to the pit, so his session's over with 6-7. Everybody else looking to improve. Gonna go on board somebody we haven't taken a look at yet. That beautiful BMW livery, Alex Stopa, who like his best time so far is a 29.2, and he's well up on that on the Delta. How big of the driver just ahead of him, Martirana, well up on his time. A couple fireworks here session.
Yeah, coming across there, 28.167.
On a provisional pole, Stopa did make that jump up to 5th. Rudderham on an improvement as well. Chicane that they call the S's. Neil Garcia completed his last lap. 8.2 be his lap board. Come out of the final hairpin here. Eric Rudderham, 3/10 up on his time, which gets us
and he's the first 27.
our first 27 on the board. 127.937 provisional pole, top silver time.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Not a whole lot left to challenge him. We got Stopa on an improvement as well, but unfortunately not the 8/10 that he would need. Looks like we're gonna. I mean, really impressive times out of our silvers. 127.9 and a 28.1. 2 out of Martirana Garcia. I'm loving the level of competition we have in silver this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great there. And a little shout out to Rudderham there. Last season we were teammates, so I'm still happy to see.
Awesome.
Yeah, still happy to see him do well here.
Yeah. So we've got the first of our gold drivers now crossing the line on start his first flying lap. We got Eisner, was actually our winner from last weekend's Spa, so we're looking to him to maybe have that. I guess last week he wasn't perhaps the outright fastest driver on the track, but his consistency, man, he was just bulletproof all race long.
Absolutely, yeah. If you could stay consistent and take advantage of any other mistakes made by your competitors, that really pays off. And because he was not only consistent at Spa last week, but he was also consistent at Suzuka with a P2. So he's starting to get in some good positions here and have some good consistency.
Some love in the chat for the 644 car of Tim Ducharme, starting his first flying lap right now as well. Have to reach out to some of these drivers to get their livery, because these carbon black cars just aren't doing it for me.
I almost remember Tim's livery. Whoa, as he goes wide there, that's easy to do, and it's easy to lose it there. And once you lose it, it's so hard to get back. It's so bumpy off track. It's really hard to keep things together once things go wrong.
Bit of comment first there. We'll click off of him as ABG, our leader in the standings, goes flying past him. Proper flying. Seen some times come through now. Eisner on his first flying lap already up into the 128.167s, getting himself
the same time
the same exact time as Martirana.
That's great.
We like that.
We do like that. Yeah, that seems to happen a lot in SRA races. Or in D3 this season at Imola, our P1 and P2 had identical times. So it's just tight racing. Love to see it.
Time as well. Casual first lap 8. His teammate Brett Swift on an improvement this lap. He had a 121 on the first lap, but he's 4:10 up, coming up over the top of turn 8. Coppice there on very important back straight. If he nails the breakings of S's. And keep moving up a full half a second up on his. Looking to make a huge jump. That potentially up to 5th or 6th place. As long as he keeps it tidy.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, that's the trickiest part. I don't know. It's hard to not get in your own head here for this last couple hairpins and push it just a tiny bit too much, but do have an improvement.
Plus a little bit in the end, but up to 10th place. Take a quick look back. The guys that everybody are rooting for, we want to see them do well. We want to see a good result out of the Latifi Racing School team. We're on board with Tyler Martin here.
He goes to P5. I mean, these guys have pace. These guys really do have pace. They just seem to have some of the worst luck possible, which is a shame.
It really is. But one of these races, though, they're going to put up a good result. We'll get to take them hopefully into a winners or podium interview.
Yeah, I'd love for that to happen for sure.
I want to talk to these teammates. Transu, lap yet. Got to give some love to the Lexus now. Looking at Aaron Moreno.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm driving. So it's a really fun car for the first 2 sectors. Just this last sector on the brakes. It's challenging. It's not easy. Looks pretty clean there through the chicane.
Three minutes and 45 seconds left in this qualifying session, so 2 or 3 more laps left for everybody. Still plenty of time for improvement. In the meantime, we had fireworks at the top. We've got Galindo and Garcia now. 27s themselves. 27.15 and 8.22, separated by only 7 1/1000ths of a second there for provisional pole and second place.
I love how close that is. Definitely excited to see how this turns out here. Like I said, qualifying is so important, and just tiny margins could get you a whole position, which could make a big difference.
Galindo has pulled himself back into the pits. We'll see if he comes back out or it's going to be the end of his session there. That first turn alone is up a 1/10.5 on his best time. Prove even further. You know, we do have a custom BOP here at SRA where, we apply different weight penalties and bonuses to cars to try to level the playing field. But historically, this car, the BMW, has been very strong at Donington.
Yeah, I think in general...
and we jinxed it.
That's the second time that's happened.
I have done that same thing so many times there at McLean's.
I have too. There's no grip on that AstroTurf there. It genuinely feels like a wet curb. And it's so easy to do. But I think in general, the front engine cars are pretty strong here. The Porsche there, I think it could be a bit of a challenge, especially with the rear tires, especially after you get going. Those rear tires get pretty hot.
Chaos at the moment for our gold drivers. Not many people on the laps where they're moving. Swift here, up a couple tenths on best. Roberts as well, so he had previously set a 127.9. He's a tenth and a half up on that time and gaining as he comes through the S's in the final 2 hairpins of the track. Looking to take, and he is on pace for a provisional pole at this rate.
Yeah, just got one more turn to go. It's a tricky hairpin.
Well, that looks a little wide, deep, but he's going to get good drive coming out of it. He lost the advantage, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. See that happens to me way too many times. It's really easy to overcook it there, especially when you look at your delta. You know, sometimes I just try to keep my eyes off it. I don't want to know my delta because it makes it so I push too hard at those hairpins.
Looking down, so making a bit of a recovery here. We've got Tim Ducharme coming into that sector 3. He's up about 3/10 on his previous best time. Some opportunity here for him to make a jump up the leaderboard. 15 seconds now left on the clock. I wonder if he's going to make it in for another lap, or even if he would take it if he could.
Yeah, if he's got fuels or tires for it.
Excellent drive out of the final turn. 3/10 up, gets himself up at 7th place.
And so it looks like he doesn't have enough for the next, but yeah, that's a good position though. I mean, 3/10 can gain you a lot here in D5.
So similarly, we see Brett Swift coming around to finish his final lap. 5/10 up to previous time, which could potentially get him into the 127s and well up the leaderboard.
Takes the last hairpin good.
5th place.
Nice, yeah.
127.975. Well done.
Very good, yeah.
Johnson, that beautiful Top Gun Ferrari. 6/10 up on a 128.8. Huge improvement himself. Up into 11th.
Nice, yeah. Just a couple drivers left. T. Martin going up into P6 there.
Driver out on track. A. Macarena of Austin Townsend. Jumping from 25th to 10th. Well done to him at the end.
Well, very good. Yeah, this with Eric Rutherham there. That's a special, noteworthy. I mean, a silver driver there in P4. That's a great qualifying out of him, and yeah, great qualifying. I mean, this is a great quality track. So
yeah. All right. So as we are waiting for our drivers to take their final bathroom breaks, get their setups loaded and ready to go for the race, we are going to take a little bit of break to thank our sponsors. You see on screen here we have our community supporter sponsors and title sponsors. Big thanks to all of them. We also want to business partners, Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. Also support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favorite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. And a big thank you to our affiliates. Track Racer. Experienced redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SR8, that's SRATE, at checkout to support us. Armamentario, a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. AT3D Sim Shop. Upgrade your sim racing experience with premium 3D printed accessories featuring precision-crafted magnetic shifters, sleek cable management solutions, versatile stream deck mounts, and immersive dashboard displays. Their innovative designs enhance performance and style. Elevate every lap with top-tier quality and craftsmanship at at3d.net. Go Setups, premium esports setups for everyone. Use our affiliate link in our Discord and take your drive to the next level. And from Castle and Cauldron, a home-based crafting business specializing in handmade Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, and Fairy World collectibles, magic wands, potions, mini dioramas, wall decor, costumery, cosplay, and much more. Castle and Cauldron is where crafting meets the magical. Visit facebook.com/Castle Cauldron. Whew, we made it.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, there's a lot, and right as the session switches over, and or as the drivers are gone down, put on the ground, and yeah, get to start going, making sure they got all their setup right, their tire pressures for the pit stop, and all of that. And so just to touch up on that pit stop strategy, as with all races this season, they are required to do a tire change and no refueling is allowed. And so I don't think we're going to see a lot of early pit stops here. At least I hope we don't, because that could be very challenging, at least on the tires later on, because it's pretty warm. Tires are not going to be super happy for a super long time. So
yeah, you know, we said that last week. We had a lot of outliers, though, that, either they pit with 20 minutes left in the race or they pit with 20 minutes done in the race. So
yeah, I think it was a bit more viable for Spa. I think, Spa is still, that second sector can still be pretty hard on the tires, but the temperature is a lot cooler at Spa, at least, because it was a night race. Here, the temperature is pretty hot. I don't know what it's set at right now, but I remember from the practice sessions, they're pretty warm.
It was at least 26, 27, and hot enough to turn those tires into black licorice.
Yeah, absolutely, especially where they're going through right there. As we've said before, those rear tires could be not so happy through those two right-handers.
So I guess the story of this race, we've got 5 Porsches in the top 7. Pretty impressive there. And we had some information in the chat that the BOP here for the Mustang, apparently not that favorable, as evidenced by Emil Garcia, our silver pick, kind of languishing down there in 11th place. We'll see if he can make any improvements on that.
Yeah, it's tough. I think it's plus 25. So it's been hit hard. And I mean, it's a really strong car. It's difficult to drive. But yeah, it's quite strong.
Yeah,
but,
I guess it's the new car, so it's getting that Peugeot banhammer. We don't want to see you succeed.
Yeah. Well, and I heard there was an ACC update and something to do with, I don't know if it had anything to do with BOP. I don't want to start any
no, God.
controversy. But yeah, there was an update. I don't think it messed with anything. But yeah, here we go as they're coming around to finish the formation lap.
Start finish line, waiting for that green flag to wave. Everybody looking nicely in formation. Away we go. No drive-thrus popping up on my board yet. Everybody's away.
What we like to see.
Well done to everybody so far. Nice and tidy through turn 1.
Kept clean through the top. Yeah, nothing changes at the top. You don't want to push too hard here, especially, with the chance of penalties. But yeah, really, really clean as it were for the top positions. It looks like.
No, it almost looked like there was some kind of a gentleman's agreement there to. We're gonna keep it nice and tidy. Line up single file.
We have. It looks like Tim Ducharme. I don't know if there's some contact there.
Yeah, we'll try to. I can catch what happened there. Oh, might have gone back up far.
Oh, it looks like we're almost going 3 wide there into turn 1.
Ah, he was off on the grass. That's gonna mind off. That.
Yeah.
He's okay. So
is what it is. Something happened. It looked like it was between him and Stopa, maybe?
Yeah, Stopa as well at the very back of the grid. So them dropping both of them. Wow, 34th and 35th respectively.
Yeah, that's a bummer there. It's a hard first lap around here. It's so, it's such a narrow track through, especially sectors 1 and 2. And yeah, it can be a bit challenging when you're in a big group of cars, basically touching, going into some tricky braking zones. You want to definitely have some extra caution.
Another little incident here. Let's see if we can catch what happened. So down a bit. Oh, just okay. Just a bit wide, but then yeah.
Oh, there it is.
That's yeah, 3 wide through there just kind of doesn't work. Back onto the racing line and somebody there already.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive up at the front at our race leader and pole position driver Alexander Garcia already pulled. Last split, it was a 1.8 second gap to Davin Galin behind.
That's a pretty sizable gap. I mean, that's only in 2 laps here.
Third, Ben Roberts. Another almost 2 seconds back. Third place, but the battle a little bit closer behind. We've got Rudderham close on Roberts' tail. Battle for 3rd and 4th here.
Yeah, some Porsche v Porsche here.
Still
v Porsche behind.
5 Porsches now in the top 6 with Tyler Martin hanging out in 7th place, looking to pick up the pieces from some of these battles in front.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's also Emil Garcia there. If I'm not mistaken, I think, did he start P11?
Started 11th, up into 8th place right now. Absolutely.
So that's pretty good for Donington. This is a tricky track to pass at. So yeah, making some great progress here at the start of this race.
Down the board, got Kyle Miller in that prize Pikachu Mustang coming over the top of Coppice now. Gap ahead, well, it's 0.9. Mr. Rice in the Ferrari, hoping to get a little bit of muscle coming down that back straight, but not close enough on. Drama ahead. Ben Roberts. Go back and find that he has dropped 11th place now.
Oh, hey, pretty well saved there.
Well saved, so there must have been some further drama at the hairpin. As we see Alexis exiting the pits already.
Exiting the pits, wow. Very early pit stop for, is that Moreno there?
That's Moreno. There might have been a penalty, because looking at your screen on the left side there, it does not look like he has cleared his mandatory 1 stop.
I wonder if he got caught up in the in in an incident and maybe returned to pits to repair damage. I'm not sure.
Potentially. See the gaps at the front. Bermudez Garcia and Lindo just walking away from Heisner, who is 5 seconds down now. 3rd place, we've got T. Martin gotten his way past Brett Swift. 5th place now. Garcia, I don't know if he's making moves or if he's just picking up the pieces, but he's to 6th place now, starting in 11th.
Yeah, that's great from him. Now I think those were picking up pieces from Eric Rudderham and Roberts. Ooh.
Rudderham, like I said, down in 8th, Roberts down in 11th, but still on track, still going, so plenty of time to make up some here.
Absolutely, yeah. And this is a track you just, like I've said many times, it's difficult to pass, and so you just want to apply pressure to the car in front. Maybe fake out, passes here and there, try to throw off their line, and that's kind of the e- the way to pass essentially around here. Sometimes you can find some good moves into the hairpins for sure, but yeah, it's tricky.
Wide through here, Aaron, but doing a decent job keeping it within second head. Heisner, T-Mart, Swift, and Garcia all kind of within about a second and a half of each other. Potential for some movement out of these 4 drivers. Bermudez, Garcia, and Galindo still just walking away at the front there.
Yeah, absolutely walking away. It's pretty early on for this much of a pace differential, which is partly why I'm a bit surprised, I would say. But at the same time, I shouldn't really be surprised because these two are fast. So, they definitely, but yeah, look, already have such a big gap there.
Reference, so Garcia, Galindo, last 9 laps set 28.8, so an 8.60 and an 8.45. Eisner here set a 29.7, so losing over 3/10 just on that last lap alone.
I wonder if they have some unspoken agreement that they're not going to battle, so they could just, keep extending that gap and let everybody battle behind, and just so they could, get some fresh air there.
I mean, honestly, that would be a smart thing to do. Just, hey, we're in hot lap mode, and let's try to break while we can.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
H here, who is one of the drivers from the first place team, the Scuderia Atlantica Ferrari team, dropped down to third, but is trying to make an impression on Thibodeau ahead. See, that's a blue flag there. Probably Renault in the Lexus. I'll make that hit. And it has to. See Kyle Miller going side by side with Duongbong Leo into the chicane. They make it through clean, and that is an overtake up into 5th place for Kyle Miller.
Nice. And that's a tricky chicane to pass at. It's a pretty high speed one, so. Got
Garcia, yep.
And Garcia, so he lost a position there to Townsend there, who already has a pretty sizable gap here.
And so that's how the move got done. Just an absolute send into the Melbourne hairpin.
Rudderham there, just trying to take advantage of Garcia being thrown off a little bit. So
tried to kind of make the follow-on move, but couldn't make it.
Being on the outside, yeah, being on the outside for that hairpin, there's no grip out there, especially the way the turn is cambered, and so. Yeah, it's difficult to make it pass, to hang it around the outside there. You kind of need that inside line.
So look at Shane Transu facing down J.E. May. Again, one of our other team champions. These guys battling for 12th and 13th place. Close eye on. See, some more drama. Hang on. Gonna go back just a little bit to. We had Garcia making. Is this a revenge dive bomb into the Melbourne hairpin?
Oh, okay. Just really. That's smart. That's patient. That is definitely. This track requires a lot of patience, both, in hot lapping and racing. You have to really think about every, input that you're doing and any move that you're making on track here. You can't just throw anything.
Yeah, no, that definitely looked like a psychological kind of pin him to the inside and let him go deep on the brakes himself. almost took advantage with the cutback, but hanging out still 7th place for Garcia behind Townsend, with Rudderham looking to pick up any pieces if either of these drivers make a mistake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back. So this is our other JP May, our other Mustang. Looks like a little wide at McLaren's. It's the famous there's no grip at that turn.
Yeah.
Dangerously coming back on track. There might have been some additional contact there. That is not a great place to spin and lose control of the car.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, it's yeah, I mean, so many of these turns are tricky to go wide at. Oh, and
that's Rudderham. We didn't go back far enough, but it looks like he had a little bit of a loss of control at the chicane, which has dropped him now 10th place.
yeah, I don't know if it was that second curb there on the chicane, the second part of it. It's pretty bumpy there, and in general, this track is pretty smooth. There's not really any crazy bumps. You don't have to set it up like Imola, for example, where you're constantly taking curbs that are super bumpy. So that bump or that bump in the chicane can throw off the back end, especially in the Porsche there.
So that battle for 6th and 7th, we see a large gap in front of Austin Townsend here, who at some point we must have missed it when we were doing all those replays, but now it lost, I suppose, the battle to Emil Garcia, running 6th place now. With a little bit of damage on the front of that Mustang. I'm not gonna put my tinfoil hat on, but there was some contact at some point in time for him.
Yeah, it's difficult to catch everything. There's so much going on as we get a pass going on there.
Yeah, this is Martirana diving on the inside of Townsend. Some contact made there, and we see. Looks like he's gonna try to hold the position. I almost would have wondered if he would have let Townsend back by, not being able to make that move cleanly.
Yeah, it's difficult at this point because you've got that, Porsche there.
This is Emil Garcia completing his mandatory pit stop after only 15 minutes of racing. It's a risky strategy play. We'll see how it works at the end of the race. His tires are going to be toasted.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, the Mustang is notoriously tricky to put traction down, and there's some turns that are important for traction here. I wonder if just that damage was getting to him or something. I mean, we saw the damage on the front end there. I wonder if that was just significant enough to where he felt he needed to repair. And but yeah, early stop for sure, and we'll definitely see how his tires are feeling by the end of this race.
Yeah, fair point about damage. Kind of the flowy nature of these first two sectors. If you've got damage to the front splitter and you're losing downforce, it might actually be the correct play to go in, fix that damage. Otherwise, you're going to be losing a lot of lap time, as we see Rudderham almost looking up the inside of Ben Roberts. This is a really tight grouping for 7th, 8th, and 9th place.
Ooh, late on the brakes there for Rudderham. Okay. Right up on the rear bumper of Roberts there.
Super aggressive, just letting him know he's there.
Yeah.
This is Brett Swift following close behind Emart for 4th and 5th place. Ahead, we've got Heisner doing his usual kind of lonely drive. It's 7 seconds ahead to Galindo. It's 3 seconds behind. We've got some drama.
Oh no.
It's Martirana, who had a bit of an off track.
That's the old hairpin here. Oh, yeah, going wide at the hairpin, and there's...
Wait, no. Don't
Was that...
tell me we caught a glimpse of Tyler Martin
We did.
off track at that
that's terrible.
replay.
Every time, like, we got to stop watching these guys. Every time we're looking at them. Oh no, that's terrible.
Oh, T-Mart, so down. He's still on track. He's still driving.
Okay, yeah, all
But-
things considered, falling down to 11th, it's not the end of the world. You could still, come back from it. But yeah, that is heartbreaking.
Right behind his teammate there, Shane Transu, the other Latifi Racing School driver.
Yeah.
Oh, following close behind. Thibodeau. J.E. May, who changed his livery for this race. He used to have that nice Matrix-themed... No, it was the Tron-themed Ferrari.
It was the Tron-themed, yeah.
But did something new, and he didn't send me the file, so now you're a flat carbon car. Sorry about that,
I was going
buddy.
to say.
So Rudderham still close behind Roberts. This 5th, 6th, and 7th, all pretty closely packed together. Looking ahead, we've got Bermudez Garcia still just make it a nice Sunday drive. The English Woods, 3.8 seconds ahead of Galindo, second place, who is himself 9 full seconds ahead of Mr. Mike Heisner, having another casual drive here down in 3rd place.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, now for the top 3, it's all turned into a pretty, well, even, Brett Swift there in P4, there's not much going on for them. They, I mean, not bad places to be in, but, just a bit of a lonely drive.
Had a move here. This is Rob Warren, Lexus. A lunge here on Pizzuto in that really nice looking Ferrari Kit Kat livery.
That is not a spot you usually see passes there.
Yeah, so very well. Or I suppose Rob Warren on season. That was a 19th place.
Lexus power. Love to see it.
So really hot action here down in 25th. This is Gilchrist Johnson. We're on board with Charm as Ferguson in that Porsche, going a little wide out of the final hairpin.
Charm will just gladly take that.
Scott Johnson in the Top Gun Ferrari, close behind Gilchrist, who was a little wide through turn 1, and I'd say he's vulnerable going into old hairpin, but not really an overtaking spot there.
It's just way too hard to get a run to get a pass into there, and I mean, we got more. This is quite a tight battle here.
All right, jumping ahead. This is Ben Roberts, Jay May, Eric Rudderham. Oh no! Keep it respectful, guys. No, Thibodeau, don't be a bully.
Oh my goodness! And that just really brought the battle to our Latifi. Oh, man, lots of
more contact.
Bumping. I mean, fortunately, everybody's facing the right way. I mean, that's one positive definitely to see out of that, but because that's a lot of contact for having nobody facing the wrong way, so that's good to see.
A little bit of opportunity to the drivers behind, so hate to do it. Shane Transu and Tyler Martin now running 9th and 10th, but if this battle at the positions ahead of them keeps up like this, some opportunity to overtake.
Yeah, and they've got, as a team, they've got a good, position for strategy as well, especially on a track that's difficult to pass in. I'm sure they're in comms, and they could work out strategy and that sort of thing.
So looking back from the wing of J.E. May, at one of the Thibodeau drivers, that green Ferrari that you got to keep a lookout for. He knows how to get his elbows out.
Absolutely.
And
and it looks like he gets a really good run out of the I just can't do. Sometimes it's not worth going for a move, even if you get a good run. Just because sometimes it's just not quite close enough, and when you're stuck behind a car, when you're battling a lot, sometimes it's hard to make that decision to just be patient. It looks like as J May goes into the pits. This is definitely within the pit window. I think we're going to start seeing more drivers pit, starting about now, especially if you want to try to get an undercut going. I mean, my gut would tell me undercut's not quite as strong here as it's been at some tracks, but who knows? Maybe, if you get some clear air, that could help a ton. And, that could be very valuable around here. So
looking ahead now from the hood of Eric Rutterham, who's running on track 6th position. Going to make an impact. Go ahead, only 3/10 behind, so well within slipstream range. This long back up us here. See though in the virtual mirror that change.
I think it is. Yeah, the livery's not showing up on the review.
Well, and so that's why. So it surely can't be. So Shane Transu here we're looking at is in 7th place.
Oh, it's a blue flag.
It's a blue flag driver who you see right behind Rutterham there, who goes wide through the Milper and hairpin. Oh, we see there it's Martirana, who had done an early pit stop and is technically blue flagged, even though he's got the pace to stick with and apparently pass Rutterham here out of the final hairpin. What do we do with this?
Wow. Yeah, that's challenging, and that's a difficult thing about pitting early here, is you can really get yourself caught up in some, serious traffic, and it's difficult to be a blue flag around here for sure, because especially if you're, Mortorano here, or I'm not sure how to pronounce Martorana. I'm terrible.
Whoa! What on earth? Hang on. That was Thibodeau
on the exit of Old Hairpin. That turn has caught out so many of these drivers.
And he just shot back across the track. That was super
pretty
dangerous.
Early.
Ah!
Well, you let go of the brakes. Typically we were told to hold the brakes, and I noticed there at the last second he let go of the brakes, which actually, that pretty much never is advisable. But in that one random circumstance,
okay.
So
that's...
he keeps. That's Mertz, and that's 4th position as well. Yeah, that is. It's just. It's difficult for this track. It's so narrow, but yeah, you gotta make sure you're watching out for the radar. Make sure you're paying attention to the other cars.
I mean, I'm sure he's a little upset with himself. He's dropped down to 9th place, but you can't be too much of a bully.
For sure, yeah. And it is difficult to get things back on track.
Looks like teammates Transu and Martin. Maybe it was arranged, maybe it just happened because of that bit of chaos there, but Tyler Martin has done the flip-flop with his teammate, up in 6th place now. 7 seconds behind Eric Rutterham, 5th place. A couple more people you see on the board there to the left. We've got Sean Leitch, Cesar Pizzuto making their mandatory pit stop. 35 minutes left in this race, and I think this is a great time to do it. Well, you figure your first stint, you're a little heavier on fuel. Maybe your tire wear is going to be a little bit higher. So hitting 4 halfway, I feel is kind of low.
Yeah, I would think so as well. I wonder because I see Transu there has fallen back a little bit. I wonder if he's maybe going into some tire care mode and maybe trying an alternate strategy and going longer. But I have no idea. That's some serious speculation there.
So this is Brett Swift running 4th place, hailed by some kind of blue flag driver. Not sure who. So that battle you see isn't position. His closest battle, he's actually pulled 1 seconds of the driver that you see ahead there on track. That's Mike Heisner. This would be battle potentially for third place and the final spot of the podium on track. So Brett Swift making an impact on this race.
Yeah, and I saw there Heisner's rear, getting out a little bit, and I wonder. I imagine the Porsche's rear tires are not feeling super happy at this stage of the race.
Oh yeah, I mean those cars are a handful at the best of times. Mine 25 minutes into a blazing hot race.
Yeah, absolutely.
Saw there a glimpse of that was in the Ferrari there. See from our board on the left has made his mandatory pit stop, so that's why he's a blue flag. Driver ahead of him, Brett Swift. See how it all kind of works out after the strategy. He makes their final stops. Looking ahead, we haven't been able to talk about him at all. Alexander Bermudez Garcia, still storming away with this race, has put a 5-second gap between himself and Divem Galindo in second place, who is himself 11 seconds ahead of Mike Heisner. They're still in hot lapping mode. They're just putting down those fast times.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's not particularly exciting for them, but at the same time, it's hard to complain when you're, P1 or P2. So I'm sure they're not, feeling too bummed about it.
It says Stupa coming in to take his mandatory tires. Young and Warren, 12th and 11th.
I feel like we got to start seeing more people pitting. I mean, it's hard to pit early around here because of the tire thing that we talked about, and also because of traffic. But as we go later, the traffic should make a little bit less of a difference for the drivers up front pitting. I mean, if I'm Garcia, I don't know if I'm pitting anytime super soon. I don't know if it's a huge hurry for these guys up here. That you don't want to be caught out in traffic, but
take a look at our top 4. Came around the final hairpin and elected take that pit. I guess they're happy with what they've got. They're putting in respectable time. So I mean, looking at the last times for the top 4, they've dropped into the high 29s. Bermudez Garcia with a 129.8, Galindo with a 130.4. Surely he's struggling, and surprised, man. It's not as fast at times. I would guarantee you put on some fresh rubber right now, and those times are going to come way down.
Yeah, you'll be flying. Yeah, if I'm Brett Swift especially, I definitely would be coming in and trying to get an undercut if possible on Heisner there.
Our closest battles on track here, Mert Merson facing Van Thibodeau. This is a track 8th and 9th, but I believe they did have some drivers ahead of them pit, so we'll see how that shakes out. Look back up to our race. See if he pits what happened.
He doesn't pit.
With Kyle Miller, who was yellow flagged there. Second, trying to figure out why. Coming down the back straight into Kane. And I missed it.
Yeah, not sure. See, so he's already pit. So, but we have Emil Garcia in the pit again. That's definitely not a good sign because he pit. He was one of our first pitters.
And has actually stopped in the pit, so it's not like he's serving a drive-through. Taking a look ahead, our P2 driver, M. Galindo, has elected to take his stop. Butterham being 6th. Well,
there's Heisner there too. So Heisner comes in before Brett Swift.
Yeah, so that was Brett Swift who in a second of Heisner. That was an on-track battle for 3rd and 4th. We'll have to keep an eye on Brett Swift now, still on track, so we'll see if he takes his pit this lap and where that puts him on track. Going for, I guess, an overcut on Mike Heisner.
It's got to be difficult to overcut. I at least my thought would say so. I mean, you'd have to be counting on an unusual pit stop, I feel. You know, unless you're really feeling like you're and he stays out. That is interesting. So he's got to feel confident in his pace, or you know, maybe we got a drive-through for his J.E. May there.
First drive-through for J.E. May. Again, this is the team championship leading Scuderia Atlantica team, having a tough race. His teammate just ahead of him, Sean Leitch, 16th place. J.E. May currently 17th, but that is not going to stay the same, as he's going to have to come that drive-through penalty with 3 laps here. Around the final sector of his 22nd lap, 27 minutes left in the race.
I feel like this has got to be the time to come in the pits.
Well, how many times can we say it and be wrong?
I know. Yeah. I mean, I could just not have any idea of the strategy, but you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Here we go.
He comes in. He comes in. Yeah.
Comes in. That leaves Brett Swift again. So his last lap was 30.5. Surely his tires have they've had enough. They're tapping out, and this must be the opportunity for Brett Swift, especially since he's got a little bit of traffic ahead. Yep, here he comes.
Yep. Yeah, I was gonna say you don't want to spend time around, you know, behind blue flags when you're at the end of the stint, and especially if you're trying to cover anybody else pitting. You know, I really think, you know, most of these drivers out front are gonna start their pit stops here. I want to get some running on those nice tires. I mean, it's gonna feel like a different car once you come out.
So, don't know what happened, and I don't know how far back in the replay I'd have to go to find out. But this is Divem Galindo, who was running strong 2nd place, showing in 13th place, which in relation to Mike Heisner, who was our 3rd place driver, Divem Galindo has lost, say, 10 seconds to Heisner somehow.
Oh man, I wonder if maybe missing his pit box.
It's possible. So Galindo has been passed on track by Townsend, Rutherham, and Heisner for position.
Huh. Wait, and I just realized also Heisner has lost positions as well. Or just to Brett Swift.
Just to Brett Swift. So Brett Swift with the overcut.
That I can't say I have to say I'm a little surprised that overcut worked that well. Again, I wonder if there's something funky going on with the pit stops here. I wonder if there's people missing.
This is an insane amount of time between the two. So before the pit stops, Brett Swift was, I'll call it 0.7 seconds behind. He's now almost 8 seconds ahead. I mean, how can Heisner have lost that much time, but also have passed Galindo? I'm
yeah, I don't know. That's difficult for me and my monkey brain here.
We missed something. That's crazy.
I wonder if, you know, because one thing that's really tricky about this pit lane is it's very short, and so if there are other cars in there, you know, sometimes it might be difficult to see your pit box, and so you might overshoot it. That's like the only thing I can think of with, you know, other than something on track happening that we didn't see. You know, there could have been an issue with blue flags, you know, anything like that we might have missed. But yeah, that's the only thing I can think of is a pit boxes.
So looking ahead on your leaderboard on the left there, we've got Cliff Hemion showing in first place, but you see that he has not completed his mandatory pit stop yet. So surely when he does, he will lose position to ever consistent Alexander Garcia, who will take back his first place ahead of Brett Swift and Eisner. Yeah, 7 seconds behind Swift, third and fourth place.
It is interesting. Yeah, I'm certainly curious how all that happened, but yeah, we only have 2 drivers so far. Scratch that, 1 driver, because it looks like Cliff has gone into the pits. So we just have Bergeson there, who has not or yet to pit, and it's, I'll say it again, it's got to be this lap, right? I mean, it looks like also he's going a little bit deep. I can't imagine those Porsche, the tires there are screaming.
Yeah. So technically this is a battle for position on track, where Bergson is ahead of Galindo for 7th and 8th, even though he has not completed his pit stop yet and is technically going to be way behind. He's not a blue flag. He's not obligated to give up this spot. Navim, though, he takes it.
Sends it down the inside, yeah, and Bergeson there, he's not fighting it, which, would be wise. He definitely didn't give that up there to T. Martin there, but yeah, that's you definitely don't want to waste too much time fighting these guys, because they're not the drivers that you're actually fighting on track. So yeah, you don't have to give up the position. You don't want to sacrifice your time, but you also don't want to sacrifice your time by fighting these drivers, just because that in the end is going to be hurting your race as well as hurting the other driver's race.
I gotta wonder if he would be better served, maybe letting Martin pass. Martin has the fresher tires, maybe get the slipstream, get an advantage off of it. See, Ed Lindo, who just made it past him at turn 1, has already pulled a 2-second gap and is pulling even further away. Bergson gets a really bad exit out of Melbourne hairpin.
If you're Tyler Martin, you're definitely wanting to get past. I mean, with fresh rubber, and he stays out. That's, again, if I'm Tyler Martin there, I'm going to be like, oh, come on, please pit, please pit. But,
Yeah, you figure at one point he was battling Galindo ahead for what would be 6th place, but now because of a little bit of traffic...
he gets by there on the exit. Yeah, again, those Porsche rear tires, they're probably just absolutely cooked at this point.
In the meantime, I mean, you can hardly see Galindo ahead has pulled a 3.5-second gap, so, unfortunate luck for Tyler Martin again.
Yeah.
Judas Garcia still just cruising. Last lap 128.5, so he strapped on those fresh tires and back to put impressive laps ahead of Brett Swift. Mike Eisner, your podium so far with 20 minutes left in this race.
Mike Eisner put in a 128.2, which is pretty quick. In fuel loads are going down. We get a lovely pass there into the chicane. That's on Bergeson again. I gotta say again, but he's got to come in this lap, right? Like, I feel like, I mean, I would not want to be on those 40-minute-old tires, in a Porsche. That's just sounds extremely difficult, but he stays out. That's interesting. I wonder what the idea is there.
Yep, so well spotted up ahead. So Mike Eisner, like you said, had put in 128.2, which at the time was the fastest lap of the race. He followed it up with a 123. So making a charge, trying to get back up to Brett Swift, 2nd place. In the meantime, we don't know what happened, but running in 6th place Vivem Galindo still with a fair bit of pace. Just put in the fastest lap of the race, a 1:28.085.
Yeah, just trying to make up some pace here from whatever happened. I'm not sure.
Said just hard to see where his box was and lost time having to reverse it back and forth.
Well, and I feel like once things go wrong in the pit lane, everything goes wrong because you start panicking, and then if you have manual ignition and everything, just it all goes off. So, especially if you do what I do and turn off, the car as you're rolling into the pit lane. If you pass it, maybe you have to turn it back on and put it in reverse, and it's the whole thing.
Forward with Kyle Miller. This is P15 Mustang chasing down Thibodeau, who got a pretty poor exit out of the chicane, pulling right up behind him through the Melbourne hairpin. Gonna stay on board to see if he can get a little something done into the last turn track. Oh man, that Ferrari, that good traction control, putting the power down. Mustang is not making an impact.
No, it's hard, and I saw Kyle Miller there. It looked like he was kind of faking that dive. I don't think he was planning on actually trying to go for a pass there, just hoping that Thibodeau would give up the inside line there on that first hairpin. But Thibodeau's not falling for it. That's the thing, if you're the car behind you, you just got to apply really good pressure. If you're the car in front, then you got to make sure, you don't fall for the pressure too hard.
Yep, so ahead we see, so on my race control, I can see if a driver has invalidated a particular lap, and it did look like Mike Heisner used one of his speed coupons through the chicane on that lap. Something to keep track of, this late in the race, we might see a couple more drive-thrus pop up, so we'll see if the drivers can keep it clean. Closest on-track battle, we've got Tim Ducharme, very close behind that Visual Sim Sports McLaren of SRA Lombardo, almost alongside coming into the chicane, but wisely backs out. There's definitely no room to go side by side through that part of the track.
Oh, and then gets a bad run through the chicane. Yeah. Then just yields for blue flags there, I'm assuming.
Oh, is that? That is. That's our race leader, Bermudez Garcia, saying, I understand you guys got a little bit of a battle going, but excuse me, coming through.
Excuse me, yeah. gotta come through for sure. Yeah, and it's always, if, when I'm always in the position, let's say, of Ducharme, it's like, I know I have to give up the position, but I'm always like, oh, you're 20 seconds ahead of the next guy, right? Like,
you can afford to lose a little bit. Let me go.
Yeah, here at SRA, we have the rules, that kind of like F1 style rules in a way, where you have a lap to, if you're shown the blue flag, you have one lap to give up that position to the driver, to the faster driver behind. So you do have an obligation, and if you don't do it, you will be penalized for it. So you definitely want to do it.
You will. So this is Ian Gilchrist now. Plan E Matrix Ferrari chasing down Duong Bong Leo ahead. This is for 21st, 22nd.
Oh, was that the Visual Sim Sports McLaren? Or no, that was Tim Ducharme.
It was both of them. It's a little bit of a here. Please hold.
So that's go.
So that's ABG on blue flag traffic ahead. So that was Lombardo. He must have gone wide at Coppice.
That's my guess, and gone wide, and maybe had a perpendicular moment to the track there, and Tim Ducharme just unluckily picking up. That's real shame. because you don't have much control over that sort of thing when that happens. But yeah.
The drivers you see behind him on the track there are blue flags. Of course, the gap behind him to Brett Swift is still 16 seconds, so no danger here for Bermudez Garcia with 13 minutes and 44 seconds left. We've got Mike Heisner, who has made up a little bit of ground to Brett Swift, only 2.5 seconds back in third place. Got Rudderham, who is within slipstream range of Mr. Townsend ahead. This is a battle for 4th and 5th place on track. Lurking close behind, we've got Divem Galindo, who 3.5 seconds back, but if the drivers ahead start to battle, he may have a chance to recover some points here.
Yeah, for sure. And even still, P6 is not that's still a good position to be in. But yeah, with close cars battling up front, you're always on the lookout for anything to happen. I mean, anything can happen. Hopefully we don't have too much of a repeat what happened in Spa, where the last lap just chaos ensued.
Yeah.
But I mean, for some drivers, sometimes you're kind of secretly hoping for chaos to ensue, but
sure. So a little bit of on-track battle here. This is Soupy Rice being followed close behind by Hemion in the Porsche. A little bit wide there. Almost got a bit of an overlap from Hevion, but he wisely backed out. There definitely wasn't room for his nose there. Nothing doing into the final hairpin, so we're going to jump back to Kyle Miller in the Pikachu Mustang, followed closely behind. This is Daniel Martirana, who was an early pit, and I feel like he kind of suffered due to some of that traffic that it was the leaders of the race. He was just as fast, if not faster than them, but couldn't pass, got held up, and is kind of stuck down here in 15th position.
Yeah, I think it was a mix of that of traffic, and he did have that spin right before he pit as well. I don't think he had any damage from it, but I'm sure his tires were just cooked, which is what triggered that early pit stop. But yeah, that plus the traffic, it's just, yeah, it's difficult.
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but ACC, it's not smart enough to flat spot your tires, right?
I don't think it'll flat spot it, but once it'll certainly heat up your tires quite a bit. And I've heard some people say that it flat spots. Personally, I don't know. I don't think it does. I could be totally wrong. I don't know. I could be ruffling feathers. Who knows? But
yeah, no, but even if it doesn't, you're right about the temperatures, and this is not a track that
heat them up.
This track just will not let you cool them down.
No, it's not like Spa where you get lots of long straights to cool down your tires. This is relentless on your tires. The longest straight is barely into 5th gear on most cars, and so I mean it's definitely a hard on the tires. So if they're hot, they're not going to be easy to deal with.
Yeah. Battle you're looking at on track here. This is Eric Rudderham following closely, very closely behind Townsend ahead. A battle for 4th and 5th place. The driver behind you see Tim Ducharme is a blue flag in that carbon fiber McLaren. So no real threat for Rudderham behind. He's really just focusing ahead to see if through these last 2 hairpins he can make an impact on Townsend ahead. Struggling for traction there, that McLaren.
Yeah.
But also the Porsche. Yeah. Not great drive out of either car.
Yeah, and they both go a bit deep. The Charm in the McLaren, definitely making it.
Wait, what?
Then he passes.
But
Rudderham.
Why did Rudderham? Does he have problems? Is he now going to get passed by Galindo? What? No, Rudderham. Does he?
am a bit confused what's
He just let off the gas.
going on.
He was right behind Townsend. He let Ducharme pass, who was a blue flag. He had no obligation of doing so. He let Galindo pass and is now down in 6th place for seemingly no reason.
Yeah, and already a relatively sizable gap to Galindo ahead.
2.3 seconds now, the gap between Rudderham and Galindo, running in 5th place.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. Maybe he made a mistake with fuel and is doing some extreme fuel saving. I have no idea. That's again more speculation on my part. I'm good at speculating.
On track action here. This is Soupy Rice. I believe that's Chris Hemion. Just maybe got a little wide there. Lost up. No big deal. Still have to fight another day.
Absolutely, and you know, as the driver behind, those are the moments you're looking for. Just the mistakes from the driver in front. You know, around a track like this, that's your easiest way to pass in a way.
So I didn't go back far enough. There was some drama that I wanted to keep an eye on. So we had the car you're looking at here, Austin Townsend, who was a fair couple seconds ahead of Divem Galindo, you see there, is now right up behind him in that Sub-Zero Porsche. The carbon black car was Tim Ducharme, and I almost wonder if there was an incident. So Ducharme is super fast, was right up on Townsend's bumper. I wonder if there was contact that caused Townsend to lose that gap behind, now under serious pressure from Divem Galindo.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, because when you're a blue flag in a situation like this, and you know you are fast, it can be really frustrating, and you have to be careful because you don't want to, you know, really race the guys in front, because you know you're going to be risking a penalty, you know, for not abiding to blue flag rules. But
technically
it's
you are allowed
frustrating.
to unlap yourself.
You are allowed to unlap yourself, absolutely, but you also need to be able to do it cleanly. And you know, if you are not able to break that 1 second gap in a lap, then more
drama. We see Martorana with a little bit of
it's just a self.
Yeah, just some oversteer coming up over the top of the hill. It has dropped himself down into 17th place.
Yeah.
Back up ahead. So this is Alejandro Juarin, which we haven't really focused on, but he's entering this race as blue flag traffic. He's in 27th place, and you see there that's Townsend behind, with Galindo right behind him as well, with Ducharme hot on everybody's heels.
Which is for position for Guarin here.
What?
Yeah,
so Guarin and Ducharme
are fighting each other.
Would be for position, but Guarin is backing up Townsend into Galindo a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, this is difficult.
That's
you know, when you're in that.
Ducharme, dude.
Oh, he goes deep.
Just chill, dude.
Oh, man.
Okay, there we go. So we see Guarin wisely yielding to Townsend.
That's really big for him, because now he's not under pressure from Ducharme. Because before I was going to say it's really difficult to let by these two faster, you know, drivers and not lose a position. Ooh, quite deep there from Townsend, and Galindo gets that inside line. However, he's going to have the outside line here into turn 1, and he's not able to make it stick. Is he going to send it down the inside? He acts like he is. Oh.
Wow, great stuff out of Divem Galindo and Austin Townsend. On-track battle, 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in this race, and these guys look like they're going to go down to the wire.
Yep. They do not want to let up anything here.
So we do have to keep track of looking at Mike Heisner. So the driver ahead, Lombardo, is blue flag traffic. That other blue Porsche you see ahead of him is Brett Swift. The gap between Swift and Heisner, there is a McLaren in the way, but within a second, that would be a battle for second and third on track. As we switch back to Galindo and Townsend, a little bit of a gap built up there, 1.1 seconds coming into the chicane.
You got Ducharme and Guarin. They're quite close to each other as well.
Ducharme has pace. Surely he makes the move into...
Oh, he doesn't.
Tucks
back in.
Keeps it tidy.
However, he's got a good run, but he's got this outside line, which is tricky. Is he going to try to cut back to the inside? They do have to hit blue flags again. It's hard to battle, you know, when you're dealing with blue flags, but...
Yep, so we're looking at Tyler Martin, who is behind Charm and Guarin. You would think they kind of have to yield. I believe our fuel...
No?
Still going. Maybe it was... Loop it?
Something's going on. I don't know if this is
he must
something
be having
wrong
difficulties with his rig, maybe?
Yeah, it's got to be technical difficulties of some sorts. I was going to say, because he's just, what a shame, too, because it's been, you know, he was in such a good position. He was having a fantastic race, but there's got to be some sort of technical difficulties. I feel like this can't be just in the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's losing power at random locations. He's clearly still got fuel. Maybe his gas pedal just isn't talking to his computer like it should.
Yeah, man, that's a shame.
Clicking back to the battle for 4th and 5th. This is Galindo once again right up on the tail of Austin Townsend, going into the Melbourne hairpin, looking for a move. Townsend doesn't defend, thinking about the cutback. Neither driver getting particularly good traction out of the turn, but Galindo making it stick so far into the... No.
Set him the right way.
You know?
Oh man, that was quite the send. You know, in one way I respect the send, but it's difficult. You know, you got to make sure it's clean. You know, when you're doing something that sendy. I wonder if he's going to be giving that position back here.
Yeah, you would think if he doesn't, he'd be at risk of a penalty. He definitely did not have enough of an overlap to be warranted space, and just kind of drives through Galindo, it seems. Looking back up to Mike Heisner, who is 0.5 seconds now behind Brett Swift. This is an on-track battle for 3rd and 2nd place. The battle behind still rages. Galindo not giving up yet. Got a minute and 15 left in this race, so just keeping an eye on. So this is our race leader, Bermudez Garcia. So as he crosses the line now with 1 minute left in this race, he will have to complete one more lap. So 2 laps to remain for Galindo and Townsend here.
Yeah, if I was Townsend, I would have probably given up that position on the back straight there. You know, you still have some time in front of Tyler Martin here. But yeah, the more you guys battle, the closer he's gonna get.
Okay. Well, that's.
Oh, what a shame to have, you know, that. I mean, hey, if you're Tyler Martin, you're like, okay, thank you guys, let's go.
Has his luck finally turned around?
Yeah.
Running in 6th place, gifted 2 positions up into 4th, but man, Townsend and Galindo, that was a little sloppy, unfortunately. So now you got to wonder if both of these drivers are facing down penalties.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because, I mean, you know, I'm not a steward, but you know that might slightly even out things. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's quite a spicy, you know, last minute or last, you know, lap battles here, or last laps battle. It's a you know, hard to keep it in, but yeah, we got ABG here with the win. I mean, he really kind of just walked away with that one. He didn't really give anybody a chance. That was about as perfect of a drive could be for him. And,
dominant performance out of him. Here we see Brett Swift held on to that 2nd place. Great performance out of him.
Absolutely.
followed closely behind Heisner. And T-Mart, this one isn't over yet. Townsend within striking distance through the Melbourne hairpin, but kind of lost drive, so you wouldn't expect any last turn dramatics here. Tyler Martin, potentially his best. Yeah, let's not say his best. There we go. His best finish of the season. 4th place for Mr. T-Mart. You love to see it. Townsend in 5th. Galindo in 6th, and the other Latifi Racing School driver, Shane Transu, 7th place. Let's go, Latifi Racing School.
They those are good turn-ups for them. You know, they have great pace, but they just had the worst luck. But it seems like, you know, things got a bit better. We did have that one, you know, moment earlier on in the race, that one spin. Oh, we got some
the
donuts
teammates
there
doing donuts in the dirt. I love to see.
Love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, that's just awesome. But
get close, get the screenshots.
Side by side. Yeah,
get the screenshots,
get
boys.
Those shots. Oh yeah, looks great. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, good stuff. All right, so that was round 5 from Donington Park. Bermudez Garcia, followed by Brett Swift. Wonder now if we have either of those drivers in our post-race chat. Maybe pull them up here for a quick interview. I'm looking. I don't see either.
See either of them. They're still coming in for their post-race review. You know, not a lot of a lot of drivers like to stay in their team chats. So.
Yeah, we'll give them a second to trickle in.
But yeah, that was you know, quite a bit of drama. I was slightly expecting it. You know, this is a tricky track, but yeah, that last few laps there was certainly intense. Very you know, it starts to get a little impatient. You know, it's difficult to keep that patience. You know, patience is such a big importance, you know, for this this track. And so yeah.
Yep, so I mean, at the very least, if we wanted, got our 3rd place driver, Mike Heisner. We could make it a weekly habit to talk to him again. Kind of looking at the overall, so, you know, again, Bermudez Garcia and Heisner entering this week were our number 1 and 2 in the standings. You got to figure that's going to continue. J.E. May had a bit of a nightmare, unfortunately, so we'll have to see where he ends up.
Yeah, with Alexander Bermudez Garcia there, I mean, he's just kind of furthering that lead in the champion. I mean, with the championship, I mean, because he's had, when, you know, he hasn't been at the very front, he's been very close, and so he's been picking up some really solid positions. So I could see him, you know, keep on extending that lead for sure.
Definitely. Well, so we do have Brett Swift has joined the race chat, so maybe we could pull him up real quick.
Yeah. All right, yeah. Let me get him in here. So Brett Swift, you're in here at the commentary booth. Congrats on the P2. That was quite an exciting race. How are you feeling from your side?
Probably. It was an awesome race. I think the first, until the pit stop, I think I was seeing greens on the Delta, so every single lap. So it was stressful though. There's just so much battling going on. But yeah, I'm just glad I held on to it.
Yeah, you were able to keep consistent there. I mean, and that is one of the tricky parts with this is, you know, staying out of all the trouble on the track, you know, making sure you're staying clean and patient. And it seems like you did that well, you know, clean pit stops. I saw I think there was some, like, I don't know what was going on with the pit stops, because a couple of people seemed to go in, like, Heisner, I think, when the pit stops happened, I believe he was in front, was he not? But then after the pit stops, you were able to pull that overcut on him, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to take advantage because I know that my tires warmed up really slow. So I think that it takes a couple laps to get up to pace here, and so
Yeah.
I figured, you know, if tires work, if I can. I did. I put in some good laps, and I think I came out about 5 seconds ahead of him. But man, there was a lunge made on the very. I didn't think he was. One moment. And then, but then when he did his pit stop, I think he ran out wide. I was going to cut inside, and I decided to just try to tuck in behind him. And then I saw him make a hard left into the pits, so I almost took him out there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Would have been super unfortunate, but
yeah, but you're able to keep that clean though.
Yeah, it was not expecting P2 tonight, but I think that you're right. Consistency is. Just glad it's over.
Yeah, this is a one where you definitely feel relief afterwards, especially with the P2 there.
Yeah, exactly. Like last time I raced here, I was P3. Someone was behind me in P4 for like 50 minutes of the race.
Wow.
Within half a second. Did my pit stop and I lost it at the old hairpin. Gave away P3, so I'm just glad that I could do it tonight. So. Yeah,
a bit of a redemption for that then. Yeah, that's great.
Cool. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate you guys doing this.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Yeah, well, huge congrats on the P2.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so we got our second place.
Had a good interview there. His connection wasn't too terrible. Hopefully, everybody at home made out what he was saying.
Yeah, I think I got most of it on my end, but yeah, it was a little bit choppy, but that's okay.
That's okay. Okay, all right, so that was round 5 from Donington Park. So for the viewers at home, we are skipping next week for the holiday. We'll be coming back to you on July 9th for round 6 from the Nordschleife, which I think everybody here is super excited about. Hopefully we'll see you there. And until then, I'm signing off. Donovan, any last thoughts?
No, that was an exciting race. I'm really excited for Nordschleife. I mean, like, I think I'm super biased because that's my favorite track, but yeah, really looking forward to 2 weeks from now.
Yep, good stuff. All right, see you around, everybody.